Well, ever since we had our mission last week, I've accepted the challenge of Jesse Ventura, the way he preaches, and I'm going to preach a little stronger to you. I'm going to yell it out like he did. Wake you up on a Sunday morning. Actually, I won't. If you weren't able to go to the mission, I really encourage you to watch it on YouTube, on the St. Susanna YouTube page. Those are excellent talks, and really to help out this Lent. He talked a lot about the deadly sins, the 7 deadly sins, and I was back there saying, we know those already because I'm preaching on them every week. And he had a code word of all the first letters of the 7 deadly sins, and I don't remember what that word was, but I still have to review the 7 deadly sins. What are they? Pride. I'm reading them, so. Envy, anger, greed, lust, gluttony, and sloth. So, why are they deadly? Why are they deadly? Well, I make the analogy to electricity. Electricity is a wonderful thing, isn't it? It gives us life and comfort in so many ways that we live our lives today. We couldn't live without electricity, I think. I mean, I wouldn't be able to put that thing in the microwave to eat. I'd go starve, wouldn't we? But what if things aren't plugged in? And what if there's no outlet even? And what if the cord has been cut off? Now, as a kid, I used to mow my grandma's lawn, and she had a kind of a narrow lawn, about 30 feet wide and 60 feet long, behind her house, and she had a Honda electric mower with a long cord attached to the outlet. And so I'd have to be very careful to mow just right, because which I did several times, I ran over the cord and sliced it up. Luckily, the neighbor boy, older kid who was I never really associated with him, but he would come and save me by taping up the cord and redoing it for me. So my grandma never found out that I ruined the cord. But so what if electricity is cut off? Now, God's grace can be likened to electricity in a metaphorical sense. It gives us spiritual life, but we have to be plugged into Him, into the grace of God. So the electrical cord is like a virtuous act that we do. That's our connection. And then the outlet is the sacraments of the church. And so when we're plugged into Him, we enjoy sanctifying grace of God. And when we pull it out, when we cut it off, that's like deadly sin. That's like mortal sin. So we need to be plugged in to receive the grace of God. That's why these 7 deadly sins are so deadly, because they cut off God's life from us by our own choice. We pull the plug out when we sin of one of the deadly sins gravely. A deadly sin destroys the grace of God in us. Like when you're in the sweeper in your house and you go too far and it pulls the cord out. So we have to look at our lives in relation to the deadly sins to make sure we're not attached to them. We're not giving in to them. And one of them today I'm going to cover is envy. Envy. It's a very deadly, very destructive sin to fall into. Now, first we have to explain about what is authentic love. When you love someone, it's not a good feeling. It's not oh, he or she makes me feel good. No, it's wanting the good for the other, wanting the best for the other. That's unselfish. That's you're interested in the other person having good, having the grace of God especially. Now, envy is the opposite to that. You don't want the good for the other. You get sad and sore that person has something good or something advantageous or whatever, and you don't have it, and you don't want them to have it. So it's different than jealousy. Jealousy is wanting something maybe someone else has, just desiring something that someone else has, and it can be sinful when it's something that's not good, but not necessarily sinful. But envy is when you don't want that person to have it. So it goes against that other person. They're good. in the Bible, Cain and Abel were the first examples of envy. Cain envied his brother Abel's offering to God. And what did he do? He killed him for it. That's how much how he was taken from that. So that's the destructive nature of envy. Now, we also have the example of the devil. Lucifer in heaven, I think Jesse talked about this, said, "I will not serve, non serviam." He wouldn't humble himself to serve and to go with God's plan to exalt a human being in Jesus Christ above the angels. And so the devil envies us. He envies that we have this gift of salvation, which is unmerited, it's undeserved, it's totally out of proportion, that God saves us and raises up to this heights of heaven. And he is sumamente, totally PO'd by this, He doesn't want that. And that's why his mission on earth is to bring everyone down to hell with him, so we can enjoy salvation. And he knows he can't have it too. Now, what about the bad guy who gets the good things? The robber who robs a bank and gets away with it and has all that money. You can be we want to be envious of him. We say he doesn't deserve that. He shouldn't have that. That's sort of righteous envy, but you have to really rely on the justice of God. In the end, will pay him back. He got his reward here, but not hereafter. So the key to avoiding envy is to rejoice in the joys of others, in the good of others. Be happy for others and make them happy. Recognize the gift of God for them and that they're happy and you want to be happy too. That's something that the early apostles and followers of Christ did. They rejoiced in the joys of others. The opposite virtue we have to practice is kindness. Kindness. That's the answer. You recognize the gifts God has given you, and you share them with others. You make it your goal in life to make others happy, even at your own expense. Now, I call to mind my own mother. The theme of her life was make others happy. She would do anything for others. Didn't matter who it was. She denied herself and served others. For example, we're around the kitchen table having dinner, and Mom's serving and cleaning and doing everything, and we're just eating away, and she doesn't have time to eat, and we all leave, and she's there by herself, But she made us happy by making that meal for us. Of course, we ate so fast that, I thought I was a fast eater. My dad was so fast, he'd be done and into the ice cream before Mom sat down. So it's this way of being that you want to make others happy. So you won't envy anyone, because if someone has a gift, someone has something good, someone that has enjoying something, you're going to be happy that they're happy. And so we have to live by that rule of life. And that brings peace in the family, brings peace in your own heart. Because you want the good for the others. You want to authentically love them. Denying yourself in the means. So I think it's something that we have to fight against. It's easy to fall into envy. It's easy to get mad at people because they're enjoying something and you're not. And you want almost to harm them because they're doing it. And so you have to really change your way of thinking to conform yourself to Jesus Christ, who loved us authentically. He wanted our ultimate good. He gave his life so that we could have life forever in heaven. And so let's all try to make others happy. Be kind. Be kind. We don't live in a kind world anymore. Kindness is been thrown out the window. We have to really deny yourself and say, I'm going to be kind to others. I'm going to rejoice with their joys. And that way you will make a good life for yourself in this life and the life to come.